This first news story comes to us from Wesley and Poole over at IGN. Pokemon developer Game Freak reportedly hacked stolen data on unannounced games as well as Nintendo Switch 2 codename leaked online. The original story here, Pokemon developer Game Freak has reportedly suffered a significant hack resulting in this leak of stolen data that includes codenames for the 10th generation Pokemon games and even the Nintendo Switch 2. As reported by Nintendo Life, data leaked includes the codename of Nintendo's next-gen console, reportedly Ounce, the codename of the unannounced 10th generation Pokemon game, reportedly Gaia, and the codename of the announced Pokemon Legend ZA, Ikaku. Neither Nintendo nor the Pokemon Company... Oh, that's not accurate. There has been an update. So here's the update. Game Freak has issued a statement confirming the company suffered a data breach in August 2024. So 2 months ago, the hack happened. They just haven't said anything until stuff got leaked this past weekend. So that kind of triggered them. Oh, we should probably say something now that stuff's getting out. The company said its server was illegally accessed with 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employee names and email addresses accessed. The Japanese language statement carries a date of October 10th, 2024, and does not mention the Pokemon data that has emerged since. In the statement, Game Freak apologized to all those affected by the data breach and insisted the vulnerability at the heart of the attack was since rebuilt. So yeah, big ol' hack at Game Freak. Obviously, the worst part of it is people's personal information getting leaked. That's obviously
by far
less than ideal and very significant. It's wild that they're just now saying something about it, though. Like, if I was one of those 2,600 names, I would have wanted to know 2 months ago, not now that my information's out there, right? But yeah, apparently some code names on. Now, I saw another source that mentioned there was source code leaked as well. IGN doesn't mention that, but I read another article that mentioned
maybe for old games. I doubt they have. I doubt they would have the Gen 10 source code up and accessible like that. It's probably in a vault somewhere that they have to go access.
Okay, so the original article from Nintendo Life that IGN referenced, I just brought it up. Pokemon developer Game Freak has apparently been hacked. A large amount of data from source code to future project details leaking online. Here's the tweet. GigaLeak Game Freak Nintendo, currently known and present on the internet. There must be a total of 1 terabyte and only 4 gig are really available. No links will be posted for the moment on this account for information purposes only while we check the sources, blah, blah, blah. So, it sounds like, no, so I don't know why IGN didn't mention this, but the original actual article that talks about the leak, yeah, source code to future project details were leaked online. As reported by Nintendo Everything, that's funny. Everyone just keeps referencing someone else. No one's actually, who's the source on this?
Yeah, because it's the source. No, you'll never find out.
This is supposed to be the source, according to IGN, but now they're saying
whoever the source is, they're getting shut down.
That's true.
Nintendo will be at their building tomorrow.
Source code for multiple Pokemon DS titles has allegedly surfaced. The game story claims the code name for the 10th generation of the Pokemon has been so that's what it sounds like. Yeah, you're right. So it's source code from a bunch of DS games were leaked. Code names for the Switch successor, code name for the new game, code name for the other new game that we already know about. Yeah, interesting. It sounds like with the new game is being tested. There was a note in some of the data that was leaked. The Switch 2 is the target platform for the new Pokemon game. The game is at least being tested for the current Switch as well.
Of course.
Which that makes sense. That checks out. There's also seemingly some evidence of a Pokemon title which was supposedly a collaboration with another developer. Apart from this, unused Pokemon pixel art beta designs from multiple generations are reportedly beginning to pop up on social media and elsewhere online. So even like scrapped Pokemon designs from like previous games all being leaked.
I did see some of those online. I did see pictures of those pop up. Some of them, glad we didn't get them. Some of them, we were robbed. Just
oh man,
throwing that out there.
Yeah, so crazy. I guess the most shocking thing to me is that it took them so long to acknowledge something when people's personal information was at risk here. and I hope they make it right at the very least. Like they reach out to these people and provide them services which help protect their identities, from being stolen. Now that potential, like, names, email addresses, who knows what else, could have been leaked. That's obviously not ideal, but I guess my only other thought with this story was with the well, I mean, this is totally has nothing to do with a leak, but a mention of another Pokemon game. My first thought was like, ooh, I wonder how soon we could actually see that Pokemon game. So tangent a little bit, but how soon, like, do you think that's early in the Switch 2 here, like within the first year, or is that like a couple years out still, you think?
I think it's probably a couple years out, mainly because we have ZA coming out, and I think that's going to be like the bridge to buy them some time.
That's true.
Also, that could be now Nintendo could be insane.
Well, we know
they could be crazy. They could be crazy enough to try to make Gen 10 a launch window game. Now, you do that, you stick to your guns, and you make it a Switch 2 only title.
Ooh.
It's gonna move. It's gonna move.
Yeah. No, wait, yeah.
But the problem with that is they're not gonna do that because there's 100 and something million Switch 1s in the world. But if they do that and they make it only for the Switch 2, you will move crazy units in the first few months at the very least. And then you come up behind it with a Mario Kart or with a blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And keep it going.
I mean, I think
Mario Kart they will definitely make exclusive to Switch 2, but 100%. Pokemon, I think there's too many people between the Switch 1 and Switch 2.
I don't know. Whatever the 10th generation Pokemon game, no matter when it comes out, whether it's during the launch window or it's a year or two in, I think I would think that's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. I mean,
how so?
I mean, they've done that with every other console they've had. They've had clean cuts, like when DS came out, like they're like, okay, the next Pokemon game is just on DS. It didn't come out on Game Boy Advance, and so on and so forth. The 3DS to Switch, like they've always made clean cuts before. Why would they not do that this time? Like because 3DS had 100,000 like some odd units, right? Like, and they were just like, no, sorry, it's come out on Switch and that's it. They just cut them off.
Yeah. But I think this is the first time where their consoles have been in such a space from each other that one could theoretically run the same game that the predecessor could theoretically run the same game that the current one has. It would just be at a lower either resolution or frame rate or something like that. So in theory, you could make one big game, make a Switch 2 version, scale it down, scale the frame rate down, and make it a Switch 1 game as well. Kind of like how Sony's been doing for like God of War and Horizon type of deal. They could do it for this.
They could, but that's just not Nintendo. Like, they've never done that before. Like, they've actually, when they say like they believe in generations, they've always stuck to their guns on that. They've never done the half step like what Sony's been doing, where they chickened out this generation.
Yeah, you know what?
So
yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Like, they could. You're not wrong. Like, you're 100% right. They could. Like, the Switch is still a capable machine. Things could be dumbed down, but they don't have that track record, the history there of doing that. So it just makes me think like.
Also, you need a way to guarantee that you're going to move units, and if it's this and it's Mario Kart, that's how you do it.
Exactly. A new 3D Mario game, a Mario Kart, and a new Pokemon game, and. Hook, line,
it's
sinker.
Gonna move.
Hook, line, sinker. You've got everyone. But I guess we can. I don't know. Do you have any more to say about the hack? I got off a tangent there.
No, not really. I didn't read too much of what was in it. Outside of seeing pictures of concepts and scrap Pokemon, but I mean, I feel for Game Freak. You know, having all your stuff kind of put out there. But this has happened before. Nintendo had a mega leak before, and a lot of stuff got leaked out, and everybody lived. So
yeah,
I don't see why this couldn't be the case again. Yeah, it'll suck for them, but time goes on, and nobody's threatening you with ransom or anything like that. So, take it as a win. You don't have to go into litigation about it.
So I went back one more article. According to Nintendo Life, they said their source was Nintendo Everything. So I'm on Nintendo Everything's news story.
And their source?
They don't have a source. It seems like, their source is a Twitter account, which originally tweeted it out. It's now a protected Twitter account. You can't read any of their tweets.
Gee, how convenient.
But Pokemon developer Game Freak hit with hack, internal info leak. So they have even more information about what exactly was leaked, which is helpful for the news story here. Thus far, we know that the source code for Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Black 2 and White 2 have surfaced. A few code names are also popping up, including Gaia, which is apparently what Gen 10 is going by internally. Speaking of which, the new gen is apparently being developed by 4ounce, which supposedly confirms Switch 2's codename. And for those curious, Ikaku is a codename for Pokemon Legends ZA. Another interesting codename is Synapse. We're not quite sure what this is, but there are reports of it being an unreleased multiplayer battle title with something describing it as a PvP or MMO game. Interesting. ILCA, who worked on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, is apparently involved with this project. So who's ILCA? Who worked on the Diamond and Pearl remakes? I don't remember.
That wasn't Grezzo? I thought it was.
According to this article, it's someone.
Oh no, Grezzo was somebody else. I'm sorry.
ILCA. I don't know what studio that is or what they're talking about, but or referring to. Today's Game Freak Pokemon hack is reminiscent of the Nintendo leak or Giga leak that started in 2018, was also prominent in 2020. That included information about the company's past consoles, prototypes of games, and other internal data. Pokemon was even a part of it, all as the 1997 Nintendo Space World demos for Pokemon Gold and Silver leaked and got a look at early creature designs. As for today's Game Freak hack, the situation is very much developing. We'll keep you up to date as we hear more. Okay, so here's the more information. Wow, there's a lot of updates. This article is way more thorough than everyone else's. Synapse has now been described
journalistic integrity?
Right? Synapse has now been described as a Splatoon-like game, but it's unclear what that means at present. Pokemon Legends ZA is already finished, and it seems to be a normal Switch game. Gen 10 is a Switch 2 right now with the two versions K and N. And while there's been some conflicting information, it appears that the game is at least being tested for the current Switch as well. Okay, so maybe you're onto something there, if it's being tested on both. Beta versions of Licky, Kricketune, Skuntank, Shaman, Rotom, Arceus, Giratina, Honchkrow, and Porygon Z have emerged. You can find those below. There's a little imager gallery with all the beta versions of these Pokemon that will never see the light of day. Some of them look very similar to.
I hate to hear it.
What the real ones look like, but plus unused music for Heart Gold, Soul Silver. There's a little MP3 player here if you want to listen to that. Pokemon leaks are continuing now for Gen 5. Here's a look at some beta designs for Gen 5. They have beta designs for Gen 3. And a bunch of stuff for the new Pokemon movies and anime were also leaked. Wow, so they got like everything. It wasn't just
everything. Sounds like
it wasn't just Game Freak. It was also stuff for like the movies, TV shows, everything. Pokemon Legends ZA was originally planned for winter of 2024, but was postponed. Will likely include Mega Zygarde, Mega Zaora, blah blah blah. So it was supposed to come out this year. Now it's looking like next year. Detective Pikachu.
I'm fine with that.
Detective Pikachu sequel, the movie, was planned for this year, but it's unclear if it's still in the works.
I thought they said that got canceled.
It says here that it was planned for this year, but yeah, right now it's in limbo.
Okay.
Live action movie series was planned. Game Boy, the name of the movie is going to be Game Boy, aims to dig deep into the theme of Pokemon's boundless potential, creating a story that highlights the importance of bonds, whether between friends or between Pokemon themselves. It may seem like a simple story at first glance, but by showcasing unexpected situations such as the moments when bonds are broken or how one overcomes trauma, it brings out its unique flavor.
Hear me out. What if we just call it Pokemon.
Right? Wow.
Because all these things already happen in Pokemon. We don't need to call it Game Boy. What does it have to do with anything?
Nothing at all. Wow, that's great. Yeah, so there's a lot in that leak. Interesting. I mean, nothing of like too much consequence, but really, if anything, like the coolest thing, I guess, is all the beta designs and stuff. I haven't had a chance to look through those, but now I kind of want to flip through. Maybe I'll look through those albums later and see some of the Pokemon we missed out on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.